In today's world, I am surrounded by countless triggers. My phone buzzes with notifications. People throw careless words without thinking. News headlines scream for my attention. Social media feeds me stories designed to provoke. Everywhere I go, someone or something demands my immediate reaction. But I have learned that peace begins when I stop reacting to everything. The psychologist Carl Jung taught that true strength lies not in controlling the world, but in controlling my responses to it. And so, today, I practice a different way of being, the art of responding, not reacting. Reaction versus response. I ask myself, am I reacting or am I responding? A reaction is fast, impulsive, automatic. It is often not about the present moment at all. It is my old wounds speaking, my childhood patterns rushing to the surface. A response, on the other hand, is deliberate. It comes after awareness, after I pause to breathe and choose. At work, when my boss criticizes me in front of others, I feel the surge of heat, the old voice of shame rising up, ready to lash back or shrink in silence. That is a reaction. But if I pause even for 3 seconds, breathe, and ground myself in the present, I can respond differently, calmly, firmly, with dignity. The situation is the same, but my choice is not. Facing the shadow. Jung called the hidden part of us the shadow. My shadow is not evil. It is simply what I refuse to see. Anger, jealousy, pride, guilt, the feeling of being unworthy, all these I have buried. But when I suppress them, they do not disappear. They come back as overreactions. For example, if I see someone boast online, I may feel irritation far greater than the situation deserves. That is not about them. That is about me, my own denied pride, my own unhealed insecurity. To integrate the shadow, I must admit, yes, that lives in me too. And in that admission, something softens. The energy that once controlled me begins to transform. Awareness is inner refuge. Awareness is the ability to stand back and watch. When a loved one raises their voice, I do not immediately attack or defend. Instead, I pause. I notice my chest is tightening, my breathing is shallow, my fists want to clench. And then I ask, is this truly about the present moment, or is this my past echoing inside me? This simple question creates space, and in that space, peace is born. My awareness becomes a refuge, like an inner sanctuary that no storm can enter. Jung reminded us what remains unconscious returns as fate. To break the cycle, I must shine the light of awareness on it. Turning inward. Most of us are trained to seek peace outside ourselves. A bigger house, a higher salary, more approval, more likes. But Jung showed that external pursuits often pull us further from our authentic self. Peace is not found in the applause of others. It is found in being rooted in who I am, even when no one claps. When I turn inward, I do not escape life. I actually engage with it more deeply. I learn to recognize my unconscious drives, my fears, my unspoken desires. And in that recognition, I stop being a prisoner of circumstance. I become the master of my own house. Emotional distance. Emotional distance does not mean coldness. It means clarity. When a friend cancels on me, I do not spiral into thoughts of rejection. I ask, is this truly about me, or are they simply overwhelmed with their own life? When a stranger on the internet insults me, I do not hand over my peace. I remember this anger belongs to them, not me. This distance is not indifference. It is love with boundaries. It allows me to stay open without being consumed. It allows me to care for others while also caring for myself. Projections. Jung warned us about projection. What I cannot face in myself, I project onto others. If I constantly call others selfish, perhaps I am avoiding my own selfish desires. If I see confidence as arrogance, maybe I am hiding my own fear of being small. Every time I feel deep irritation with someone, I ask, is this about them or is this my mirror? When I see it as a mirror, I no longer waste my life blaming. I reclaim the energy for my own growth. Relationships become lighter because I am no longer fighting my reflection in others. Daily practice of self-observation. At the end of each day, I take 5 minutes. I write down the strongest emotion I felt. I note how it showed in my body. I record the thought that came automatically, and then a healthier thought I could choose next time. This practice seems small, but it rewires my inner script. Tomorrow, when a similar moment comes, I already have a better response ready. Slowly, I teach my nervous system that I am not a victim of reflex. I am a creator of response. The 10-second protocol. In moments of crisis, I practice my 10-second ritual. Stop for 2 seconds. Breathe for 3. Label the emotion, anger, fear, shame. Choose in 2 seconds, speak now, later, or not at all. At work, this stops me from sending an angry email. At home, it saves me from shouting words I will regret. Online, it protects me from feeding trolls. 10 seconds can save a day and sometimes a relationship. Individuation. This path is not about perfection. It is about individuation, Jung's word for becoming whole. It means I am no longer just a role, a mask, or an expectation. I am my true self, with both light and shadow known and accepted. Individuation is when I stop chasing the crowd's approval and begin living from my own center. When that happens, peace is no longer a fragile state dependent on circumstances. It becomes my natural ground. Redefining peace. Peace is not silence outside. Peace is silence inside. It is the ability to remain centered even when life is loud. I may not control the storm, but I can learn to control my sails. So I redefine peace. It is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of awareness. It is not the world obeying me, but me aligning with my true self. My 3 promises. From today, I make 3 promises. To pause for 3 seconds once a day, no matter what. To log my emotions for 5 minutes every evening. To refuse unnecessary arguments, remembering that silence too is a response. These are small, but they are powerful. With them, I shift from a life of constant reaction to a life of conscious response. Closing in on T. I now know true strength is not controlling others, but guiding my own inner evolution. Anger is no longer my enemy. Fear is no longer my weakness. They are simply messengers waiting to be understood. When I observe myself, I see that every emotion is a language of the soul. And the act of watching changes everything. Today, even in the storm, I choose quietly, calmly, with courage. I choose the freedom of not reacting.